Yo, what's good? It's your boy Doc from Domino Coaching and Entertainment. For coaching, my links are down below. Spiritual readings down below. Astral divination sessions down below. If you need help with astral projection, I also have a course on astral projection down below. Let me say this real quick. If there's a time that you want to book a session for that I don't have listed, hit me up on Instagram, which is down below. You know what I'm saying? Because my schedule has been changing, but I could like make some adjustments for you specifically. So let me know. Um, Discord down below, Patreon down below. Everything is down below. Definitely like this video. You know, hey, listen, if you want to be stingy, that's cool. But I'm trying to give you some advice. When you're being stingy, life will be the same exact way to you. Like with me, I like everybody videos. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I want to get that shit in return. You got to be the same way. I mean, unless you want life to be stingy with you, also. You know what I'm saying? But I would advise that you drop a like. Also subscribe if you're new. And let's get into this video. So this actually happened. This happened the night of April 17th, going on to April 18th, 2024. You know what I'm saying? I never told this story. There's so many stories that I have not told, which I'll start sharing on here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I've been astral projecting, hence why I have a whole entire mastery course. If you want to get like me with astral projection, the course is down below. Everybody always asks how to astral project, but there's so much that goes into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you could have a certain type of technique, but if you haven't built up your astral awareness, your memory, your etheric body, astral body, you haven't tuned your chakras, so much stuff is just not going to be, you're not going to successfully do it. You know what I'm saying? But enough of that. Check the course down below or my astral projection playlist. And when it comes to this video, I traveled to the end of time. But here's what I mean, right? So when it comes to time, time is simply the time is simply the passing of events within inside of space, right? The end of time deals with the end of the space-time continuum. Now, I didn't see like the end of the omniverse, but I did see how like this universe ends. This universe is only one of five arc verses, you know what I'm saying? So I saw how the space-time continuum ends, you know? And by the way, I talk about the five arc verses a lot on my Patreon and stuff like that. There's a whole PowerPoint about how they even formed and stuff like that. I have a basic video on YouTube, but to get in depth with how the different planes actually formed into like the five arc verses, I have a PowerPoint on Patreon down below. It's so much sauce over there, bro. But anyway, right? So this was a really interesting experience, right? I'm gonna talk about like what happened when I actually astral projected there, but I want to talk about how time will even end. So essentially it's like source gains every single perspective possible and then kind of collapses in on itself in a harmonious kind of manner. It's like the same way that space expanded, it starts to contract in the same type of way. It's really giving big crunch vibes. That really is like there's a theory called the big crunch, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like that. Now, something that's interesting though is the fact that technically there's really infinite perspectives that you could gain. So I don't understand, like it was kind of confusing how like source gains every perspective, but it's kind of like everybody within inside this space-time continuum. It's like the consciousness or the different consciousnesses within inside the universe have gained enough perspective. They gained all the stuff that they want. Like you as an individual may not have hit that point, but it's like the greater consciousness that even makes space expand. It's like it expanded so much that it obtained so much perspective that it now decides to collapse in on itself, right? Now, the ones that survive are usually the ones who have also gained that type of perspective. And it's like everybody else kind of just like merges with source. Like they kind of just die and go back to source in a way. Now, like let's say that you survived, right? If you survived, all that really happens is that you just consciously merge with source. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else kind of just dies and goes back to source, like without their own control. So like after creation is done with inside the universe, the option to create is still there. However, this time it's not really for learning and it's more just about enjoying yourself because every creator at this point already knows what's going to happen because they lived out all the perspectives. You know what I'm saying? So, here's what I actually experienced, right? So I astral projected to a certain galaxy. It was either in Horologium or Iridanus. I forgot which one I went to specifically. And I don't feel like pulling up the different options right now, but I do. I have a PowerPoint on them. I'll drop the PowerPoint at some point on Patreon. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, right? I went to a galaxy that there's several different galaxies that manage time in different ways. You have the galaxy of completion, which is literally a whole entire galaxy that literally shows different completed realities, completed timelines, the completed version of different realms and galaxies. The galaxy of completion is fucking amazing, you know what I'm saying? You also have like galaxies that literally manage the whole entire like time structure of the omniverse. Some only manage it for the universe. Some manage the whole entire omniverse. There's different time galaxies that are fucking amazing, which I will talk about on Patreon coming up. I kind of just forgot about it for a little bit, but I'm like, yo, let me make this video and get back on this shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So I went to this certain galaxy, and when I was there, when I first got there, there was like all these bodies just falling. Like there was bodies dead ass just falling from the sky, and it's like the world was kind of collapsing, but in the most harmonious way possible. Like I said, it's like the way that shit expanded, it kind of fell back in the same exact way. So as shit's falling apart, you kind of understand how it's falling. And I don't want to say it looks beautiful because it's fucking destructive, but it was kind of beautiful in a way. It was really harmonious though, right? Now, what was weird is the fact that I've actually been here before. Like where I was at, there's like a building, there's this big ass building, right? But I was like right here, you know what I'm saying? But I'm bringing up this building because, nigga, years ago, you know what I'm saying? At some point, I had an experience like a few years ago, right? I think my dad was still alive at this period of time. I'm pretty sure he was, you know what I'm saying? He died a few years ago, right? R.I.P. to my pop. I talk to that boy every night. Or that man, I should say, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, yeah. When I was a few years ago, right, I had an experience where I was on that, like that same tall ass building. I was at the top of that shit. And I was talking to my dad, and he was like, yeah, look around you. You see how everything's just falling apart and stuff like that? And I didn't know what the fuck he was trying to show me, but that was at the period of time where he was about to die also. But it's like I literally seen these falling bodies before, and I was on top of that building. He made me look around and just do certain shit. And at some point, there was something that dealt with jumping off the building. I don't fucking know. It was really weird. But it kind of made more sense now. Because when I was seeing these bodies fall, right, there were certain people who was just like, there were certain people who were just sipping tea. And they're like, ah, yes, so beautiful. And these beings were the immortal beings, right? These were the immortal beings, right? And as they're sipping their tea and stuff like that, there's this one guy who comes to me. And we start talking about these different types of bodies, right? And the guy's very like happy. Like he's like, we're talking about different bodies that deal with crystal bodies, right? I'm gonna explain that a little bit more, but we're talking about these different bodies, right? He's like, yeah, this body, that body, yeah. I'm about to go up there and jump the fuck off. I'm like, what? And he was like, it's okay, I'm not gonna fucking die though. I'm like, huh? Like it was so weird because we were talking about, like, he was telling me essentially how time is ending right now and shit is collapsing, and that there's all these different kinds of bodies, and because he's mastered them, he's gonna just jump off this fucking building and just like live his fucking life and be free and just like go back to source of some conscious shit. And I was just like, huh? But like the more he explained it, I actually was understanding more about this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking over here because I have notes over here to make sure I don't get ahead of myself. But yeah, so as he was explaining the different bodies, right? So The vibe. So let me say this: the vibe that I got already felt like it already felt like everybody was gonna die. Like, aside from the fucking bodies falling, it felt like everybody was about to die, essentially, right? Except for this guy, and which is because this guy had a certain level of mastery, right? And that's why he was gonna jump up. I had to get myself right. And that's the reason why he was so comfortable just jumping off the building at some point. Because for him, it's like, I'm going to fucking live anyway. So he was also explaining how with these different bodies, right? He was talking about how to also merge them and how to even like kind of build them up. Like, he was about building up the bodies and then how to merge them. And like, he was just explaining all this shit about them. So let me say this, right? The different bodies he was talking about were the crystal bodies. So like you have a ruby, amber, ruby, amber, emerald, sapphire, amethyst. When you merge all of them together, you get the golden platinum, and then when you transcend your consciousness, you get a diamond body. Now, these relate to different crystal tablets. After he told me this shit, I made a very important point to learn about the crystal tablets, which is how I got that video on my Patreon. If you go to my Patreon, right, which is down below, and you click on PowerPoints, documents, exclusive teachings, and all that. No, it's PowerPoints and documents, right? That one right there. If you go there, you're gonna see I have a document about the different crystal tablets. You know what I'm saying? It deals with the fucking ruby and all that shit. Ruby, amber, emerald, sapphire, amethyst, gold, platinum, and diamond. I have all that shit there. You know what I'm saying? And because I actually I went to the Omniversal Hall of Records to even study the different crystal tablets after he told me about this shit. I'm like, okay, I got to get myself right, because if you didn't master these bodies, right, you couldn't fully return back to the source in a harmonious way. You were kind of just set to just die, you know what I'm saying? But when you mastered these bodies, you became immortal essentially, right? So this was really important to actually like understand. Like, if you want to survive the end of time, you had to practice these immortality practices. You know what I'm saying? That was the biggest way to prepare, you know? So yeah. And I was essentially seeing how when the universe is complete, we have to form and merge our light bodies for our consciousness to survive at the end of time. Because a part of this, right, is the fact that with your consciousness, right, when the end of time happens, and people, like, when the end of time happens, right, most people return to source, but not as like a conscious being, which I said before. But here's what this means: it's kind of like a soul death in a way. A soul death is when you die and return to source, but you forget about all your past lives. Now, this is different than like when you reincarnate and you forget your past lives. Because, for example, when I came on Earth, I didn't know my past lives, but now I do, because the information is still inside of my soul. A soul death would be if all that shit got erased. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why the people who don't become immortal kind of get soul death is because, this is going to sound kind of offensive, but it's like the people who have not raised their energy and their consciousness to even form these crystal bodies and stuff like that, these people are not really that consequential when it comes to the universe, right? Like, a lot of people just be kind of like background characters, you know what I'm saying? You know, like the typical bots who don't care about spirituality, don't care about life. They're kind of just like fillers. But all the people who actually put in the work to like make these energy bodies, then to merge them and to transcend and all this other stuff, these are the people who are essentially aligned with Source. It's like the reason why Source even made the space-time continuum is to literally have a place where all timelines and realms come into one. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, as you gain the perspective of all these timelines and all these realms, right, you're achieving the goal of Source, because Source wants to know itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, Source manifested itself as an individual so it can actually have this individual perspective of all these different things. But it's like, the people who aren't trying to actually like ascend and stuff like that, they're not the part of Source that wants to learn more. You know what I'm saying? They're a part of Source that might just want to be a filler character, or it just serves that one purpose of giving you a hard time inside life, or they serve the one purpose of being a teacher, but they're not like being like a school teacher who doesn't really care about anything else. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people in life, right? They're not. A lot of people in life are not embodying the aspect of the source that wants to know itself. You know what I'm saying? But all the people who want to actually ascend and stuff like that, these are the people who embody the part of the source that actually wants to know itself. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of sounds a little bit fucked up, but not really. Because when you think about it, it's like, nigga, we're all source. It's just that we're different aspects of source, and some of us want to know about ourselves and who the fuck we truly are, and we want to ascend and get all this wisdom, and other people don't. You know what I'm saying? And it's like as you work with the crystal tablets to form the crystal bodies and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like you doing that is helping you to gain all the perspectives of source and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, remember how I said there's infinite. Remember how I said that there's like infinite perspectives? This is true. And the thing is, as you ascend with these crystal tablets, at some point you do gain the awareness of infinity. And what's kind of, what's crazy? I guess I'm spinning back to this video because recently I've actually been going to the infinity plane, the 11D, right? Like I've already been there before, cause like I literally I would not be able to understand the 12 planes had I not experienced them. You know what I'm saying? Like I got taught about them inside the Astral. This is true, but to even understand what fully happens inside them, you have to gain experience. Like, granted, if you guys go to my Patreon, I have several videos about the 12 planes. You know what I'm saying? I break down the name meanings, what beings exist on them and stuff like that, how it relates to your consciousness, your different bodies. I speak about the 12 planes a lot on Patreon, bro. I have PowerPoints on them, documents, all that, bro. Go check it out down below because I really be getting saucy with that shit. But it's like, even them teaching it to you, right? You can't fully understand it unless you experience it. Like, you're going to have the intellectual knowing, right? But you need to experience it. Like, for example, right? I may know the logic behind how to do a backflip, right? But I still can't really do a backflip. I don't fully know how to do it and understand it until I actually experience doing the backflip. Like, I might be able to explain the mechanics of it, but can I really contort my body inside that way? Can I really trust myself to do that stuff? You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, can I even jump that high? Like sometimes, like you may have to jump to a certain height. Like I may know that I have to get like, let's just say fucking 8 feet off the ground. I don't think you have to get that high up, right? I don't fucking know. I don't know how to do a backflip, the logic or the experience. But example, let's say I have to jump 8 feet in the air, right? I may know that, but can I really do that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, like the reason why I understand the 12 planes is because I've experienced every plane. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that I'm rooted. I'm not saying that I'm rooted inside the awareness of every single plane, because I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting there though. I already talked about my evolution through the different harmonics and octaves of our omniverse. You know what I'm saying? And what consciousness I'm kind of rooting inside of right now. I explained that on my Patreon. You know what I'm saying? But long story short, it's like right now I have been experiencing the infinity plane way more, the 11D. And I've been encountering 11D beings like jellyfish beings, alicorns. An alicorn is like a mix of a Pegasus and a unicorn. A unicorn with wings, essentially, right? So when it comes to alicorns, right, they are 11D, but the lowest they go to is 7D. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like the same octave, like 7 through 9, and then 9 through 11 is inside the same octave. I explain octaves also on my Patreon. You know what I'm saying? I actually literally explain how we ascend through perfect fourths, through harmonics, through octaves, and the reason why people even are like if you have a certain consciousness, right? Let's say that you're like mainly 5D, right? You could still tap into higher ones with inside that same octave. You know what I'm saying? So with the unicorn being, I mean, no, with the alicorn beings and the jellyfish, they're inside the octave of 7 through 9 and 9 through 11. Now, one may say, how's that an octave, nigga? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I'm saying? With 7 through 9, 9 through 11. But it's like, when you consider octaves, you have to do 7, 7 through 8, 8, 8 through 9, 9, 9 through 10, 10. You know what I'm saying? That's how octaves actually work. You know what I'm saying? I explained that in my Patreon down below. But I'm saying this because you also have unicorns who are mainly, unicorns go from 7 through 5 and then 5 through 3. You know what I'm saying? But the alicorns are actually way higher. And it's like, I guess I'm talking about time a lot more now because I've been going to the infinity plane. You know what I'm saying? And I'm mentioning all this because with gaining all the perspectives, right? You can you could experience the consciousness of infinity. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, you experience yourself as every single thing. Now, you may think that you've experienced that, but most people haven't. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not living that shit every single of the fucking day. Facts. Wanna know how the fuck we know this? Nigga, if you were literally everything, right? If you were living that shit out right the fuck now, you would literally feel the pain of everybody right now, the joy. Like for example, you would feel like let's say that you're fuck damn. Now let me do a different example. Okay, let's say that damn, why are my examples so fucked up? Let's say that one person's eating ice cream, another one's taking a piss, another one's eating mac and cheese, and someone else is going skydiving. You know what I'm saying? You would feel all that shit at once. You would. Right now, I'm touching my desk. If you were inside the consciousness of infinity, you would literally feel me touching the desk as well as everything else inside the omniverse. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can experience that, but you're not gonna like. It's hard to root inside that shit. I don't think most niggas even want to. You know what I'm saying? Especially because if you're doing that, you can't really be inside of a physical body. Like, cause imagine all the fucking pain you would feel. Also, like there's so much pleasure, but there's also so much freaking pain. There's people who's getting unalived right now. People getting raped right now. People are going through some messed up things right now. You would feel all that on top of all the pleasure too. Your body cannot handle that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you literally have to be disembodied. I don't think that you could like really even be inside of an energy body at that point because 11D, like 9 through 11D deals with consciousness. You know what I'm saying? It's infinite consciousnesses. You know what I'm saying? And then the megaverse, which is 9 through 7, is all the infinite energy and stuff like that. And then 7 through 5 is the infinite eternal realms. I explained that on my YouTube. You know what I'm saying? But I get really in depth on Patreon, like way more in depth about how you actually ascend through that shit. You know what I'm saying? And what it's like to even experience all that shit. You know what I'm saying? But long story short, yeah, bro, like to even truly embody infinity, you couldn't even do it inside of a fucking body. You have to literally just become a consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, long story short, if you want to prepare, you need to essentially ascend all the 12 planes. You need to form these energy bodies, these crystal bodies and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Granted, most of y'all gonna be dead before the space-time continuum collapses and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm probably not even gonna fucking be here. Like, some of y'all by this point might be inside the fucking metaverse. You know what I'm saying? Just doing your shit inside the metaverse, you know what I'm saying? Like the universe, like you know what I'm saying? Like, cause by the time shit collapses, bro, it's gonna be like a long time, bro. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it's definitely gonna be billions on billions of years, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be several different eons before that happens, and I'm pretty sure that anybody watching this video, by the time all those eons pass, you're gonna already be heavily ascended anyway. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm trying to say? So yeah. That's pretty much it for this video. If you want to do what I do, just if you want to astral project, also I have the course down below, bro. You know what I'm saying? My shit is fire, bro. You will obtain mastery. I promise you. If you really do all the practices and stuff like that, you really take the time to really do that shit, bro. You're gonna start to master your own astral projection method. 'Cause I teach you how to make your own method also. I give you guys my method and how to make your own method also. You know what I'm saying? So with that, without further ado, I'm gonna end this video. I love you all. I'm gonna catch you in my next video. Peace out.